Hello, friends? An invading soldier makes the best decision of his life and surrenders to a group of Ukrainian infantry. Recently, attractive financial incentives have been established for each Russian soldier captured. The goal is to have as many Russian prisoners as possible in order to exchange them for Ukrainian soldiers held by the Horde. What I wonder is whether the Horde will be willing to exchange back the mercenaries they are bringing from Africa and Asia. I think those will stay in Ukrainian hands until the war ends. The campaign of mid-range attacks is still in full swing, to the point that Ivan now has to jump out of moving trucks 50 kilometers away from the front in Sloviansk. In this case, courtesy of a Mosquito from the Apache Mosquito Operators Unit. But come on, let's not judge the guy too harshly. It's totally reasonable that he ejected, since it's definitely better to take the fall of your life and end up with a broken leg or hip than to stay in the truck and take Putin's kiss full on, delivered via Mosquito. 10 solid points in the Invaders Diving Championship. In a beautifully coordinated nighttime operation, carried out in the early hours between July 5th and 6th, the Unmanned Systems Forces, led in this operation by the 414th Magyar Birds Brigade, carried out one of the most forceful attacks to date in the campaign to isolate Crimea and cut off its vital supply lines. The operators of the 9th Kairos Battalion and the 13th Detachment of the Brigade, in collaboration with intelligence assets from the Ukrainian Navy, located and attacked 2 fleet tankers of the fleet from Putler's Shadow Fleet, which were sailing through the Sea of Azov, and were identified as the Sonar 4 and the Captain Barman. Each ship was carrying approximately 7,000 tons of gasoline, which, just to give you an idea, is equivalent to 200 tank cars full of fuel, and they were en route from Taganrog to Crimea. Both ships were designed to operate between Russia's inland rivers and navigable canals and the open sea, transporting fuel in the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. Both ships were hit in the superstructure with the aim of disabling the bridge, leaving them adrift. Simultaneously, and to make things more difficult for the invaders, an attack was launched against the oil depot in Kerch, with multiple Mosquito drones hitting the facilities, which caused widespread fires. The raid also managed to neutralize a Nebo-U radar installation in the same area of the Kerch Strait, as well as 2 launchers of the S-400 Triumph Air Defense System 1 in a hidden position in Crimea and another in the settlement of Kosinki in Russia's Bryansk Oblast. These S-400 units were being used by the Horde to launch ballistic missiles against cities inside Ukrainian territory. The commander, Robert Magyar Brovdy, reported that his birds had successfully attacked 47 military targets in the Russian rear during the operation, which aims to exhaust all fuel reserves on the peninsula, isolating it from new supplies, as well as disabling the entire power supply network, having destroyed dozens of power stations and transformers so far. The goal is to make life so miserable for the invaders in Crimea that they will have to start withdrawing back to Mordor, crossing the bridge over the Kerch Strait. Strategically, the attacks intensify the pressure on Crimea's already precarious supply lines. With land routes under constant threat and the Kerch Bridge always at risk of destruction, the Z forces now depend on some tanker managing to evade Ukrainian surveillance and bring them some fuel to keep going. These are the military operations on the peninsula. Now, neutralizing these ships not only cuts off the fuel supply for troops and civilians, but also demonstrates the defenders' ability to project their power deep into the Sea of Azov. As the 414th Brigade says, "We will stand up and Crimea will fall, it will fall." More robots are coming because the German Ministry of Defense has awarded a major contract to the company Quantum Tanker Industries for the production and delivery to the armed forces of Ukraine of no less than 2,000 Termit unmanned ground vehicles. This initiative is one of the largest ground drone acquisition programs in the world, making it clear that the Defenders' ground forces are placing a strong emphasis on autonomous systems to improve operational effectiveness and minimize the risk to their soldiers on the battlefield. The Termit platform, developed by the Ukrainian manufacturer Tencor, has already proven its resilience on the battlefield with more than 3,000 units delivered and thousands of missions carried out since 2023. These versatile ground drones perform a wide range of functions, including casualty evacuation, logistical transport, deployment of barbed wire and mines, and direct combat support. The company in charge of production will be a joint venture between the German company Quantum Systems and the Ukrainian company Tencor, along with other industrial partners, to accelerate mass production and use the existing high-capacity infrastructure in Germany. An interesting fact is that the vehicles will integrate the advanced motor software platform, Musica UXS from Quantum Systems, which will allow a single operator to manage multiple drones at the same time, optimizing mission planning, reconnaissance, target identification, direct combat, and battle damage assessment. We continue with ground robots, and in this footage we see field tests of the modular heavy 8x8 ground vehicle from the Ukrainian robotics company Batak, which is designed to operate on all types of terrain, carrying a payload of up to 2 tons. The platform has full 8-wheel drive and is equipped with wide all-terrain tires, specially designed to move through the snow and mud of the Ukrainian steppes at sustained speeds of up to 42 kilometers per hour. The power plant is hybrid, diesel-electric, for greater range. And navigation is handled by an artificial intelligence agent that uses a set of sensors, including a LiDAR system which emits laser light pulses to calculate exact distances and create three-dimensional maps of the environment, as well as computer vision cameras that allow it to avoid obstacles and operate without a GPS signal. Designed as a heavy multi-purpose ground drone, the system can carry out logistical resupply missions, integrate remotely controlled weapon stations, and perform medical evacuation. Roles it can quickly switch between by using specific modules for each mission. To finish, an important fact, because on July 6th, Ukrainian forces attacked the largest oil refinery in Russia, which is located in Omsk, 2,500 kilometers from the front, which processes around 21 million tons of crude oil per year, representing 8% of Mordor's refining capacity. Now, according to Russian sources and reports from Reuters, the attack managed to damage the CDU, tin crude distillation unit, which accounts for 38% of the refinery's capacity, and disrupted critical network connections with the adjacent CDU-11 unit, responsible for another 37% of production. This damage has forced a complete shutdown of the refinery's operations. This will leave total Russian gasoline production between 15 and 20% below domestic demand, a situation that defenders will surely continue to worsen with new attacks. One effect of this is that the start of the Russian grain harvest in 2026 has been noticeably slower, as farmers have threshed only a third of the cultivated area compared to the same period last year. According to the authorities, it seems that farmers are selling the subsidized diesel they receive from the state on the black market, which is a much more lucrative business than using it to operate their machinery. This is worsening delays, both in the harvest and in the transportation of grain. If this situation continues, a significant part of the harvest could be lost, causing problems feeding the population.
If you want to see additional content about the war in Ukraine, I invite you to visit our 2 new channels where we present information about the war in a different format. Don't forget to check it out. Remember to visit our Patreon, where for just $1, you'll have access to a large number of uncensored videos and documentaries.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.